We see that you're here to talk about Arbor Greene development and a bond guarantee execution.
Yes, thanks for having us this morning. This is with regards to the Arbor Greene development. For those who aren't familiar where that is directly located, it is in North Londonderry Township. That is why I have Kris Troup to my side here today, the planning director. Might be
is he to distract the fire?
Yeah. Just in case he wants to add anything to our presentation here today. The subject development is located along Campbelltown Road, right across from the Palmyra High School. It's a 200+ lot residential development, and we're here today particularly about phases 4 and 5. We've had issues with the improvements being completed within phases 4 and 5 by the developer. As you know, I provided yesterday a copy of the settlement agreement with the developer's bonding company, which is an insurance company. They have their corporate offices in Tennessee, and we've been in negotiations now since April, springtime, on a settlement amount for this, which now we're finally getting to the finish line. And the further background would be, you're probably thinking, well, what happened to phases 1, 2, and 3? Well, in the first 3 phases of the development, we did not have any issues with the developer finishing improvements, which is your sidewalks, your streets, your curbing, your paths, your environmental improvements, your stormwater facilities. Inspections were done, financial guarantees were released. Then we came on to phases 4 and 5, and there were items that were not completed.
Did they use a different contractor? Was there a change in the leadership at the corporation?
I can't speak for the corporation. I think the answer to that is no. As far as contractor, basically at the tail end of this, we were more in contact with the contractor that was in the development and the contractor building the homes more so than the developer. We went through a time period here from 2008 when the final plan was approved for phases 4 and 5 until recently where we hadn't had any contact from the developer. There was no request for an inspection of improvements so that the bond could be reduced and or released. And the last time that happened was in 2011 was the last reduction. So I would say middle of 2013, we're just about a full build out for the development, and we start getting contact from property owners from Arbor Greene that live in these phases, specifically reps from their homeowners association, wondering, have we heard from the developer and why aren't these remaining improvements being completed? You know, they have sections of sidewalk that are not done. They have kids that are going back and forth to the elementary school, walking through the development to get to the high school. They're out in the streets. We don't have the finish coat on the streets yet, so you have the elevated inlets and the manholes. So these people are spending quality money on new homes, and they're dodging the structures within the street. And I think push came to shove where they were frustrated. And the icing on the cake was winter maintenance. And the winter maintenance activities were not taking place in a timely manner. And they're in their 2 phases of development, seeing delays of snow removal, ice removal, and so on. And the other 3 phases of development, where they have dedicated streets, they're seeing the township come out almost immediately and take care of snow removal when we're having storm events. So as you can see, the frustration was really starting to build.
So are you here today to give us permission for you to go ahead and get this done then?
Correct. So the settlement agreement is basically the finalization of our negotiation with the bonding company to sign this document, present it back to the insurance company to have the settlement amount forwarded to the county so that we can have the improvements completed. Due to the ongoing negotiations between the insurance company and the township and the county, we were hoping to have those monies in the spring or summer to get the improvements done before this winter.
Okay.
It's that obviously, now that we're in November, is not going to happen. The homeowners association is aware of that, and I would say thank you to the township. They've stepped up to the table to provide some preventive winter maintenance for the residents, and that was their #1 priority. You can imagine what they went through last year when we had one of the worst winters that we've seen.
If we put this out on bid, are we going to be able to cover all of the repairs with the amount that's in the bond?
At this point, we believe yes. Now, obviously, with fluctuations in prices, we're going to be doing this it'll be happening in the springtime, and some time has passed here, but we believe the amount that we have itemized here will get the job.
Does this developer have any other projects in Lebanon County?
Currently, no.
When he speaks about the negotiations, the number that they've arrived at,
you know, it started off really high because there haven't been any inspections or any reductions. So the insurance company, of course, it's their job to minimize their loss here. So
Correct.
that's what happened over the last 4 months, is that they kept on trying to, you know, get the number down. But between Bob and our engineer, Rick Bolt, they, you know, they kept on sort of defending those numbers that are needed to get the improvements complete. So I think,
The original number and the current number.
yeah, I think at this point, you know, planning and our engineer are comfortable that there's enough there. You had also asked about the bidding. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, we've discussed that, and basically the township, which is familiar with, you know, operating a bidding process on an annual basis, we're willing to do the bidding and all the advertising and things of that nature that go along with it. And then it'll be up to, I guess, to the commissioners to decide if you want to hold on to the money and pay the bills as they come in, or if you just want to forward the money to the county or to the township and let the township pay the invoices. Obviously, at the end of the process, if there are any funds remaining, that goes back to the developer.
No funds in escrow in this case, it's all bond,
Correct.
reliant totally on the bond.
And how much is the total amount of the bond?
The total amount of the bond currently was, the starting amount that was $782,300. However, what we are settling on, I believe, is $355,000. And that goes back to what Jamie was saying about the fact that we weren't getting requested inspections from the developer. There were a number of improvements that were completed, but inspections were never
So
requested.
that,
So that
normally
was-
that bond amount would have been reduced.
Correct.
But it
Correct. So
hasn't been.
$355,000 is where we stand today, and we believe that's an amount that will get everything completed for the development.
Any other questions? Not as our,
I just want to add one more thing. Dave Warner, your solicitor, has been involved and aware of this, and Bob's met with him on a number of occasions. So, you know, that component was.
Jamie and I discussed that, and we felt it was necessary to provide the settlement agreement, even though it was satisfactory to our department and the township and their solicitor, to have the county solicitor review it also before it was presented to the board. And what we have right now is it's the Arbor Greene Partners LP, so obviously a business entity label for that particular developer. It also was Dana Glass Corporation from Litz was the corporation behind that.
Yeah. And have you gotten any explanation for why this wasn't completed? Was it's an issue between their contractor and themselves, or you just
That
don't know?
explanation, no. We reached out to the developer in 2013, late summer, early fall, and it was fairly elusive. Certified mail that was not accepted. It was then forwarded to the developer. There was communications between the township office and the developer. The system manager for the township, Mike Booth, had been verbally in contact, and they made the statement they never received it. They got in contact with me, and I verified the address that we were sending it to is their exact corporate address in Litz, so I don't know what happened there. And there were verbal affirmations that the work would get done prior to the winter of 2000, the previous winter. That did not happen. And we tried to pin them on a distinct timetable on finishing the improvements, and we couldn't get that in writing to save ourselves at that point. And so that they're in the difficulty of and what transpired last winter with the winter maintenance issues for the residents out there.
thank you.
The principal that signs the
For
letter?
Arbor Greene.
I'm pretty sure it's Michael.
Michael
Michael
Glass.
Glass is the name of the individual. I've never met him. Maybe emails and telephone calls, but I've never.
There's a request to allow the county to accept advertising for this bond through North London Township.
Execute
North
the
Londonderry
bond.
Township, execute, I used the wrong terminology, thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.